Thank you very much, Renee, and the board, Mike Lilac for the nomination. I'm probably the only one up here that looks more like a ball boy than a basketball player, but it's my mom's fault. But, you know, basketball for me was more about opportunities. 5'7", 140 pounds, I don't think I was going pro anytime soon. So for me growing up, is more along the lines of what could basketball do for me? And thank God for, you know, a slew of coaches throughout my career that kind of set me up not only with basketball, but with life itself. And the nice thing about it is these coaches set me up for life with, you know, opportunities that I'm even feeling the effect today of, and constantly take the things that I learned during my basketball career, and I'm able to apply them today because of those coaches. Brian Fruscio being a big one. Coach Dan, who's in the back, was my high school coach. Ron Rzinski, Herb Crossman, Richard Hurley, and you know, those are some big names I know in this area. And you know, throughout my career, I was able to keep in touch with them, get advice. So basketball certainly becomes more family than anything else. The basketball itself was always great. It was fun. But the life aspect is where my opportunities really came. I was able to travel throughout the United States playing basketball. I was able to go to Paris. And that's probably where I had the biggest impact in my life is we went with a New York State all-star team to Paris. We had to room with the Lithuanians, and at the time, if you know anything about Lithuania, they were at civil war. And when they arrived, the bus had bullet holes in the side, and it was, you know, quite an experience as a 9th grader, 8th grader, having this bus pull up, and these kids were just happy to be rooming with us. Well, it turns out, you know, at the end, we were sponsored and had all sorts of nice stuff. These guys had nothing, holes in their shoes. We decided as a team to take our shoes and swap them out with these guys. And I just remember them crying and say, you know, that we had given them our shoes. In return, one of the players gave me his dad's professional basketball jersey from Lithuania. And I said, you know, I can't take this. And the translator said, no, he insists that you have to take it. It'd be disrespectful not to take it. So I took the jersey, and you know, of course, I went home, and I still have that jersey in my office today. But what that really did for me is it instilled giving back, and I just think that that's really where basketball leads a lot of us here today. A lot of us in this room, I'm going to say almost everybody, gives back to the community in some way, and that's due to the fact that we play basketball. Basketball leads us to that giving, and that always stuck with me. So I always make sure, you know, the community involvement is a big thing, and I know that most of the people here, whether it be coaching, given their time, you know, I was reading some of the bios, and not just time, money, everything. That's important, and I think that's what basketball helps instill in a lot of people. I'm not going to take a lot of time up here. I've been to a lot of these events, and I do want to just give a shout out to my parents, obviously. As Kevin said, you know, my mom traveling an hour each day, get me down to AAU practice from Hudson Falls to Albany. My dad and his crew beating me up on Saturday mornings to make me tougher, because at 5'7" I had to have at least some grit. And of course, you know, everybody at table 19 that came over tonight. And of course my wife, who has no clue that I ever played basketball, and I'm sure when she looks at me, she's like, you played basketball? Unfortunately, she was unable to make it tonight. She's back in Las Vegas with my son. But I just want to tell her, you know, eventually when she sees this, that I love you, I appreciate you and everything you do. And I also want to just say to everybody else here tonight, congratulations and have a good night. Thank you.